right. Hey, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. I know keynote ran a little bit long, but this actually picks up at the last topic of the keynote. So I think you're actually like the perfect place to keep going with your day. My name's Eason. I'm one of the product managers here at Databricks. I particularly focus on AIBI dashboards. I'm joined by Chris, a staff engineer on our team. And we're incredibly excited today to talk about dashboards, kind of the innovations we've done in this space and why we think it's going to be a really great addition to your organization. So today we're going to definitely look at the product. We're going to talk about key features that we built that we think would be really helpful. And also I have a demo prepared that will show you kind of all the bells and whistles of where we're at right now. But before we jump into that, I just want to take a quick step back and kind of talk about dashboards and AIBI in the context of Databricks' mission. Now, like Ken said in the keynote, we're kind of entering this space as a new player. And the mission of Databricks as a whole is to democratize data and AI for everyone. And we recognize that up to this point, we've been pretty good at, focusing on your data teams. Those like analysts, your engineers, your scientists. They build great notebooks, right, of really efficient queries. They can produce ML models on Databricks. But kind of there's another whole population of users in your organizations that maybe today aren't in Databricks at all. Maybe these are your marketing folks. Maybe these are your finance folks. They could really benefit from all of the data that you have. But unfortunately, there quite isn't the mechanism for you to take those insights out until now. And that's where data and AI and AIBI as a product line comes in. So I'd like to talk about in the keynote this morning, AIBI is a new product line for Databricks, and it starts with two key products, Dashboards and Genie. Dashboards is kind of what we all know and love, right? You put panels, interactivity, all of this content on a page, you present it to an end user, and they can get an understanding of the story you're trying to tell, and they can move on with their day knowing that they have the best information available. And Genie is really a substitute for kind of the data analyst that has to go back and answer all of the follow-up questions that traditionally has taken more business days, more time. And it's like, hey, I saw this chart that says revenue. I would love to break it down by this additional category, but I don't want to bug that guy again. Like he's going to take 2 days to get back to me. I think I'm just going to take a guess and move on and do the best I can. Well, not anymore, because Genie can take all of the context of a dashboard and using LLMs, generate for you additional insights based on the questions that you ask with all of the context that's available. Now, obviously, these products are meant to go hand in hand, but we've seen a lot of our customers who are early partners benefit from both individually already. Ted at Second Dinner told us that the seamless integration of dashboards specifically, the ease of use that we've done, the developer-friendly APIs that we've supported, make it their go-to tool for doing quick visualizations without having to reach for a third-party BI tool and setting up additional infrastructure. Meanwhile, Vattenfall has a lot of business stakeholders that have lots of ad hoc questions every once in a while about electric markets, their own performance. And traditionally, they've gone to data analysts, but with Genie, they can also self-serve those insights and move on as quickly as they can. And that's really great. And obviously today, this is a dashboard session, so let's jump more into what dashboards specifically are. If I had to talk about AIBI dashboards in one sentence, I would say they're built to be simple to build, easy to share, and fully integrated into the Databricks platform. To talk about why we made investments in these directions, I'll hand it over to Chris.
Thanks, Eason. We've built AIBI dashboards to address the challenges we've heard from you. You've told us about the pressure to keep up with the demand for new dashboards. We've added AI-assisted experiences to enable self-service authoring. You've told us about the need to share dashboards with non-technical, read-only stakeholders. We have enabled you to publish and share view-only dashboards to stakeholders, even outside the workspace. You've told us about the desire to programmatically deploy dashboards. We've significantly simplified our dashboard content model and added API support. Perhaps most importantly, you've told us you want a dashboarding solution, but you don't want to have to go procure and deploy and manage additional software. AIBI dashboards are deeply integrated into the Databricks platform, providing a viable alternative to third-party solutions. Next slide. So let me talk about the advantages of an integrated BI dashboard when compared to third-party tools. You should be focused on unlocking and sharing insights from your data throughout the business. But third-party tools often introduce an extra layers of licensing, access management, and configuration. Rather than focusing on the insight, you focus about which users should be able to create or even view dashboards. Integrated AIBI dashboards means that all DB-SQL users can leverage dashboards without needing to jump through extra licensing hoops. BI tools often introduce a parallel data layer and access layer that you need to manage. So in addition to dashboards, you might be familiar with assets like extracts, data models, and connections. So these assets often require their own layer of access management and configuration. BI tools might even add their own parallel data layer features such as data catalogs or data transformation pipelines that you need to learn and manage. So with AIBI dashboards, your dashboard and data layer coexist in the Databricks platform. So you can leverage common building blocks such as UC, materialized views, and our permission model so that your dashboards feel like a smooth extension of your data layer, because it is. Finally, third-party BI tools often run into trouble when dealing with Databricks scaled data, simply because they lack the full picture. So having these tools do queries live often leads to suboptimal performance and higher cost than you'd like to pay. So extracting the data into the tool itself seems like an appealing solution, but it does come with its own share of drawbacks. BI tools often make it very easy to extract all your data on a very frequent cadence, when that's often more data than you actually need. Since AIBI dashboards are integrated deeply in the Databricks platform, we can holistically optimize to provide fast dashboard performance on large data sets while still be mindful of the queries that we're running on your behalf. Nick at Block highlights the ability to quickly generate and distribute insights with AIBI dashboards. Because our dashboards are integrated in the Databricks platform, there was no need for additional connections or extracts. This seamless integration ensured that users could access and analyze data in a single environment, reducing the time and complexity involved in analysis and decision-making. Overall, our design simplifies workflows and enhances productivity. And now to Eason to talk about our design principles.
Awesome, thank you, Chris. So if I had to describe AIBI dashboards as kind of, in terms of key pillars and why we made directions of investment in certain features, I would say we wanted to prioritize three things. We wanted to make sure AIBI dashboards were intelligent. We wanted all of the experiences for the builder and also for the viewer to be performant. And we really wanted to make sure we enable you to do a lot of secure sharing, so all the hard work you put into these dashboards reach everybody that it should. We're going to go through each one of these. Let's start with intelligent. I feel like intelligent is a word that gets thrown around a lot these days. It means different things to different people and different products. But for us, intelligent means allowing you to build faster. So kind of augmenting your productivity. You know, if it used to take 5 hours to build a dashboard, we want to get that down to 30 minutes. And what does that actually look like? Well, when we thought about kind of what are the key pain points and what are the kind of key time sinks of building dashboards today, it kind of breaks down into two things, right? One, I need to get all my data into the right format, into my dashboard. I need to make sure it's performant, I need to make sure my query works, and that the data is done in a way that the chart can actually understand. And on the other side, I have to configure visualizations. And that requires understanding like, hey, what is a histogram? When is it best to use a histogram? What is a bin in the context of a histogram, right? If you're starting to build bar charts, you want to understand like, what is a group by field, right? And these are things that obviously everybody can learn. But wouldn't it be so much easier if you had an assistant plugged in that could take the intent of what you're trying to achieve and map it to kind of the ideal set of visualizations and configurations that you have? So because we're built on a platform, we had access to Databricks Assistant and all of the innovations that kind of our friends at Databricks as a whole have been doing. And we've integrated the assistant into not only being able to help you write queries, debug queries, but also help you build visualizations from scratch using natural language once that data that you've pulled into the canvas. So I'll show what that looks like in a demo. But the other thing that makes dashboards in this case really special is that this is a direct gateway to building a Genie. Now, you can probably imagine that if Genie is this chat room where you can go in there and ask any questions, you can't just assume that people know what are the right questions to ask, right? A lot of the value of a dashboard is actually a domain-specific expert really understanding what are the key metrics that affect these outcomes in these systems, putting them into a dashboard in such a way that tells that story and kind of teaches your audience how to think about this problem what are the key pillars? What are the key questions you should ask? And from there, asking all of those follow-ups in a Genie. So there's a one-click solution now where from a dashboard, you can generate a Genie room. And that Genie will have all of the data sets, all of the queries, and the context built into that dashboard as the starting point for you to ask additional questions on top of it. And all of that, like I said, is designed to save you as much time as possible. Now, everybody likes to say that, hey, their product is amazing and the AI assistant is going to work great. So I wanted you to hear from Philip from Whip Media, one of our early partners. And they've really been able to use the point-and-click UI, the intentional AI integrations, and they've empowered an entire group of non-technical users to self-serve and build their own dashboards. This is a really exciting use case for us, and this is something that we'll continue to refine. And we want to work with you to figure out what are those key capabilities that would allow you to do the same thing. To talk about performance, I'll hand it back to Chris.
Thanks, Eason. Imagine you built a dashboard that you want to share throughout your company. On the day of the big presentation, you want to feel confident that you're sharing out insights and not a page full of spinners. That's why performance has been one of our key areas of investment. Caching, filter optimizations, and subscriptions are some of the techniques we use to deliver fast performance, even on large data sets. We cache previous results per dashboard user for up to 24 hours. When you have a cache hit, initial dashboard load should feel near instantaneous. Of course, dashboards are more than static sets of images. Filters are essential to delivering interactive data experiences, so they must be fast. When the data sets are small enough, we execute filters in the browser, which, as we'll see, leads to lightning-fast interactive performance. And when the data is too large for client-side compute, our server-side query layer takes advantage of the same 24-hour cache to deliver fast performance. You can schedule dashboard queries on a regular cadence to ensure the cache is warm and ready to go. Scheduling is also a great way to share fresh data with key stakeholders by sending out PDF snapshots of the dashboard on a regular cadence. So here's an example of all of our performance improvements working together. We scheduled the dashboard queries so that all the dataset data were cached, leading to an instant initial load. Since the datasets were modeled to be small, we were able to evaluate the filters in the browser, leading to really snappy interactive performance. You too can get this kind of performance with proper dataset modeling and setting up dashboard subscriptions. And of course, since we're built on top of the Databricks platform, we can leverage DB-SQL to give best-in-class performance on large datasets. So in addition to the dashboards themselves being fast, it's important that the dashboards are easy to manage and deploy. We offer comprehensive dashboard infrastructure, including APIs, Terraform support, and coming soon, support for Git folders and Databricks asset bundles. Put simply, you should be able to manage your dashboards using the same processes that you use for all your other Databricks assets.
Awesome. All right, so last pillar, like we said, secured sharing, right? And what does that mean for us? This is something that we heard from all of you when you were using our legacy dashboard product that you said was a key pain point. There were many pain points, to be honest, that we're looking to address here. But the key one was, there isn't really a great way to share these dashboards out to users who otherwise don't have to use Databricks. You told us that, I want to share these business users, but they're kind of scared of Databricks. They come in, they see queries, they see SQL editor, they see notebook, they see jobs. And it just doesn't feel like a product that's meant for somebody who needs to consume a dashboard to use. So we've done a number of innovations in this area to really address that key problem. It starts with the separation of a draft and published dashboard. So now when you create an AIBI dashboard, you initially start in what we call draft mode. And that basically is a version of the dashboard that's constantly being saved, that's constantly being updated, that you can iterate on. Once you're happy with that version, you hit a simple publish button, and that becomes the surface that your viewers see. And once you share that out with your viewers, you can continue to make changes in draft, and you don't have to publish until you're ready again. So this creates a separation to make sure that you have these production dashboards that are always stable and showing exactly what you want, whether in the traditional legacy dashboards, trying to figure out okay, have I made a change big enough to save? Should I finish this work or can I discard it and come back later? Now, taking that published dashboard, there's so much you can do. First of all, like you would expect, you can share with collaborators. I can share with Chris and we can work on a dashboard together. But that consumer piece is really important. So now AIBI dashboards are one of the first products in Databricks that allows you to share knowledge objects outside of the workspace to a user not even in a workspace at all. So what that means is you can start inviting your users to Databricks, not adding them to a workspace, but simply just giving them enough credentials to be like, hey, I recognize that this person is part of my organization. I can find them in the search bar when I share a dashboard. And when I do, they'll get an email, they'll open a dashboard, and they won't see the sidebar, they won't see any additional controls, and they'll only have access to the dashboard that they've been shared. And that is that single pane of glass experience that we've heard a lot of you ask for, and we're really happy to share that that is now possible with AIBI dashboards. We've also heard from you guys that you wanted to embed pages and dashboards in external pages and apps. So that's possible. I'm going to show a little bit more about that in the next slide. And as you would expect, you can also schedule these dashboards. So you can send them to any email listing of your choice. People will get a PDF of that, Monday morning, 9 a.m. so they can review a dashboard of their morning coffee. Okay, I did want to double click on embedding. And that's because, you know how if you guys have submitted work of your account teams to send feedback and also feature requests? This is our most hotly requested feature from the past year. In fact, there were over 280 of you guys who asked for the ability to embed a dashboard. Show of hands, I'm curious, are any of you in this room, anybody asked for embedding or want embedding? Sweet, okay, that's awesome, that's great to see. So that is now possible and we're really happy to share it's in private preview. The first phase of embedding that we have at the moment allows you to bundle a dashboard as an iframe and essentially drop that into any tool that you want. All your authentication works as the way you would expect. All of the interactivity works, all of the caching, the filtering, the performance optimizations that Chris talked about work exactly the same way. You get access to the same nice, clean published dashboard just as an iframe. And if you want to be a part of this in private preview, want to test it out, we would love to work with you. So please work with your account teams, get yourselves nominated, and we'll reach out soon and get you guys enabled on this. Now, sharing is great, but sharing is to do that broadly, you need to underpin it with governance and security. And this is where I just want to double click a little bit more about this UC piece. So because we're built directly onto the platform, UC benefits us in two key ways. One is for the author. So when you start creating an AIBI dashboard, UC gives you all of the tables that you should have access to, right? All of the row level and column level security that you would expect. And those become easy points of reference for you to start pulling data in, creating dashboards without having to figure out access. And with the newly announced metrics that UC is integrating, that will also be natively supported in AIBI dashboards. Now the viewers benefit from the data lineage. So anybody ever open a dashboard, they see a number that's kind of funky and they're not sure if this is real and they should be concerned or if something's going on in the pipeline? I personally deal with this all the time, right? And lineage is a really great way to understand, okay, let's go to look at that table again. Maybe I'll send this to another colleague, we can review it together. But lineage gives you this clear view of what is going on in this data, when was the last time it was updated, what is the underlying logic, for you to start to be able to debug, and within the context of a dashboard, understand that what you're looking at is truly accurate. So those two pieces together is something that we're really proud of that will make you share your dashboards, that will allow you to share your dashboards as widely as you want. Okay, so that was a lot of slides. Let's jump into a demo and look at how easy AIBI dashboards are to build and share. So the first thing I want to show is just how easy it is to get started. So to build an AIBI dashboard, it's already natively integrated into the product. You can find just this dashboard tab over here under new. You can also go into dashboards over here. But the way we recommend is going into catalog and thinking about what are maybe the key tables that would be really helpful as a starting point. So let's imagine we're a little kitchen supply company. We're new. We want to run our business in a data intelligent way. And my boss has asked me to build a dashboard using Databricks because all of our sales information has recently been pumped in. So I'm going into my favorites. I'm going to open this kitchen supply set of data. And I see here I have an orders table. I'm going to open orders. I see, okay, I've got SKU, I've got price, country, date. That looks about right. So this is the set of orders. I'm going to go into create over here. I'm going to click dashboard. And right away, that generates you a starting point. So you can see super fast. The table's already loaded over here. You can get a preview of what are your columns, what are your rows, what does the data look like. I can see transactions like, okay, somebody bought this item that's $190 on 2024, March 28th. Also, you're directly prompted with the assistant. So at this point, you can already start asking questions to generate charts. But before we do that, I just want to show you the data layer behind this. And that goes into this data tab over here. So as you can see, we pulled in that orders table for you and generated a basic line of SQL that gets you access to all of that information. If you want more, for example, this is where UC comes in. So here I have a search bar that can basically help me find any data that I have access to theoretically because I'm a part of UC. So I can look at something like, if I look up kitchen supply, I hit enter, I see all those tables again. And it might be really reasonable or interesting to throw in the reviews as well. So if I see sales going down, I want to understand how reviews are doing. So I'm going to click that. As you can see, it's going to run, pull that information, and once that loads, that also becomes data that's available for you to use in your dashboard. Okay, let's jump back into here and look at what we call text to viz. And this is essentially the assistant's capability for you to start generating charts. You can start by kind of looking at example prompts of what it thinks might be interesting for you to generate. But in this case, I kind of just want to get it started with like basic revenue over time, right? So I can say, give me a chart that shows weekly revenue over time. I'm going to hit enter. It's going to think about that for a second. And it's going to go through and look at what are all of the fields that I have and what are all of the options visualizations that make sense. Now, one of the really interesting things is that notice that I said revenue, but no column actually says revenue. So our assistant goes in and reasons that price is likely the indicator for revenue. And by summing price over time, that gives you the number that you're looking for. So I can also verify over here, right? It's because what all this assistant is essentially doing is looking at the data that's available in the fields and applying automatically all of these viz configurations that you would expect. So I can see on the x-axis, it's aggregating date by week. And on the y-axis, it's summing the price column. So I can also visually verify what the assistant is doing and to confirm that that's what I want. So I'm going to hit accept. I'm going to give it a title, like revenue over time. And I can also do additional things with point and click, right? So this is a group by field. Maybe I want to split by country. So there you go. Now I can see that, obviously there's a lot more sales right now because we're really pushing our sales motions in the US and not Canada. So you can imagine you can do this a couple more times, pull in more tables, generate more charts. And like a cooking show, we have kind of a fully baked dashboard ready to show you what that might look like, a little bit down the line. And this is where kind of things look more like a traditional BI tool, like a fully built dashboard, right? So you have your single value counter widgets, you have stack bar charts, you have pies. Like you probably heard in the demo today, this morning, we have AI functions that are actually forecasting sales over time based on your detailed sales information. And I have a table for negative reviews down here. Over here in the data tab, we have a couple more tables as well. So we have some visualizations to pull negative reviews, something that pulls the best sold item, and sales forecasting. Now, remember I said that we have assistants now for both the visualizations and SQL. Well, in this case, I'm not going to generate new SQL because I know this query works. But if I'm somebody new coming in and maybe I'm collaborating, I can ask the assistant to do something like insert comments that describe how this query works. I'm going to hit enter. It's going to think about that for a second. And you see it's starting to generate inline comments to describe what each of this is doing. And you can really imagine how this can benefit somebody who maybe is a beginner dashboard builder, right? And they can come into here, reverse engineer somebody else's dashboard, and get going themselves. In this case, I'm going to accept. And remember, that's now saved in the draft dashboard. Let's also add a piece of interactivity. So I have this negative reviews column header here, and I can see that amongst these reviews, I have review classifications. I kind of want to filter by that to make that a little bit easier for my viewers. So I'm going to make a little bit of space. I'm going to pull up a filter, put it over here. And I notice that it's a single value, so that's sort of what I wanted. I'm going to hit fields, make sure what I'm applying to, and I'm going to go to negative reviews, and I want to filter on review classification. I'm going to give that a title, review topic picker. So if I want to filter by reviews about durability or sharpness, I can do that. And just like that, it's available. I can click, and this is all happening in real time. This is actual filtering that you're seeing that is lightning quick, and that's because all of this is done client side. Same for the date picker. You can just, it kind of feels like all of the data is right in front of you, and you don't have to think about if something is worth filtering for. Now, I'm happy with the changes I made to this dashboard. I want to publish it. So like I mentioned, one publish, there you go. Now I can go review the published dashboard over here. And I can see that, great, like this dashboard is going to load, and it's going to pull up all of the changes that I've made, and this durability filter is now available. I'm going to collapse it just to review everything looks good to me, and then I can do two things from here. Well, a couple more than two things, but two things I want to show. The first one is I can now check through this info all of the data sources. So this is that UC integration for lineage I was talking about, where if you're not convinced that maybe 88 8-core Dutch ovens have been sold, you can go into here and kind of look at orders and go figure out what's going on. At the same time, you can share and schedule these dashboards. So over here, you can schedule. So as you would expect, maybe I want this every week on Monday at maybe 3, let's say 9 a.m. So let's do that. 9 a.m. Pacific, that looks good to me. I can create it. And then I can subscribe myself. I can come into here, I can edit it and add other subscribers. So if I wanted to subscribe Chris, I can do that. And now Chris is going to get the same email as me every Monday morning. Now, that's a subscription, right? But you can also share this dashboard broadly. So right now, I have a couple of my colleagues already shared on this dashboard that I've worked with in the past. But I can as easily add Chris as well. I give him Can Manage access, and now he's added in a collaborator. He's going to get an email that notifies him that he's been added as a collaborator. But I also have this really easy one click that shares this dashboard to anybody in my organization. Now, I know there isn't any sensitive PII in this dashboard, and knowing my team, everybody should have access. So I can do that. Everybody in my organization can now view just like that. I can start sending this link out, putting them into emails and newsletters, and now everybody in my organization can leverage this dashboard using this view-only mode. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show is embedding. So when you click this embed code, you see that this iframe is not automatically created for you. So if you're using a tool that can just accept an iframe, copy this over, paste it into where that tool accepts this code, and this dashboard will render exactly as you would expect. In this case, I already have in our Confluence an overview of this kitchen supply store. And as you can see, I'm describing the sales team, kind of the sales priorities for the year. And wouldn't it be great if instead of asking all of my users to jump into a separate tool to review dashboards, which some of them might not because everybody is incredibly busy, but it would be so great if you can just put the dashboard directly in the surface. So to show how easy that is, in Confluence, they have an iframe component. I'm going to add that. It takes a URL here. So it doesn't actually take the full iframe. You can just kind of just take the subset over here that ends here, copy that over, jump back over to here, hit paste. I'm going to give it a 100% width, and I'm going to say maybe 800 pixels of height should be okay. And just like that, you see that the iframe is already rendering, and now this dashboard is loaded. I think I might have messed up that 800 pixels, so I'm going to go in and try to fix that. Refresh. I'm not as good as using Confluence as I'm at using Databricks. It looks like something is going on with this iframe. Oh, down here, there's a pencil. Okay, cool. So that height didn't register. So I'm going to go 800, hit enter. There we go. Okay, so now there's a full height iframe. You have a dashboard in view. You can update, you can publish it. And as you would expect, everything works as a dashboard that is in product. So all your filtering works as well. You can come down here. You can clear your filters, and all the performance is still gained, and all of that caching is still shared. Okay, so that's a quick look at kind of how easy it is to set up to create and share AIBI dashboards. And because you're all here with us in person, we have some kind of exciting roadmap updates to share with you as well. So I'll pass it over to Chris.
Thank you. Now that we've shown what we built so far, I'm really excited to share what's in our roadmap. In 2024, be on the lookout for features such as maps, multi-page dashboards, custom color palettes, calculated fields, Git folder, and Databricks asset bundle support. And in 2025 and beyond, look for things like viz drill downs, advanced geo features, optimizations for large screens, and even faster performance. We're committed to continuously improving AIBI dashboards to best meet your needs. We'd love to hear from you about what other features you'd like to see on our roadmap.
Yeah, like Chris said, we're really here to partner with all of you to build the tool that you need to accomplish your goals, right? Everything we've done up to this point is based on your feedback, and all of these are features that we've heard you request from us as well. So as everything changes, every year in this industry, and your needs will continuously adapt and change as well. So we'd love to hear from all of you for what you're looking for, in any moment in time, and we'll always happy to adjust. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with is that AIBI dashboards are available for all DBSQL customers today. Everything I showed in that demo, with the exception of embedding, which is a private preview, which we'll have to onboard you for, is available. So we really do encourage you on your way home to give this a try. Let us know what you think and give us your feedback. Thank you so much.